This will be the rematch of the century.
S H I T.
This will be the rematch of the century.
The time of the Jedi is over.
Nerdrotic.com.
Hollywood used to be the land of opportunity, but now it's just the land of opportunism. And on a day where we saw a world-famous opportunist get her ass handed to her in court, justice for Johnny Depp, we're going to talk about another world-famous opportunist, except this time it's not an individual adult pretender with no talent. It's a giant multi-billion-dollar corporation with no talent, Disney.
Fade in.
Disney has owned Disney Star Wars for almost 10 years, and in that decade, they have arguably made a mediocre film with Rogue One that's largely forgettable except for those last 2 minutes with Darth Vader, and a very popular, mediocre television series with The Mandalorian that they immediately screwed up by firing Gina Carano. And you'd think that would be enough, but let's not sell Kathleen Kennedy and Lucasfilm short. They have become very adept at stealing defeat out of the jaws of victory. That really popular digital Luke Skywalker scene was immediately jacked up in the spin-off series Boba Fett. Hey, but congratulations, Disney Plus. According to you, Kenobi was the most popular premiere on your platform, and that would be great if it wasn't the fourth most popular thing this week. And I want you to let that sink in. Star Wars was the fourth most popular thing this week, coming behind a sequel to a 36-year-old movie, Tom Cruise's Top Gun Maverick, which is pretty damn good. Go see it. Stranger Things Season 4, which is a definite improvement on Season 2 and 3, but it's also a show that's paying homage or ripping off an entire era that was co-created by Steven Spielberg and George Lucas, and of course, a celebrity defamation trial. So what's a giant monolithic multi-billion-dollar corporation to do when they know they've shit the bed? Same thing as Amber Heard. Play the victim and attack the money. That's you. In the very recent past, a company, individual, or organization would at least wait for the bad thing to come out before they attacked you. Now, it's a preemptive strike. We saw this with the Rings of Power, and I promise you that will be my next video. And we are now seeing this with Disney Star Wars, and it's a weekend of contrasts. We had Top Gun Maverick, where the film starts out with a thank you message from Tom Cruise. Whether it was genuine or not, I didn't really care. It was the thought that counted. And he thanked the fans on Twitter very nicely after the record-breaking weekend. Then we have Kenobi. And yes, we will talk about the latest Disney Star Wars product, Kenobi. But first, let's break down the most recent timeline of the racist Disney Star Wars fan narrative. From a tweet by Variety on May 26th, Moses Ingram on preparing for racist backlash surrounding her Obi-Wan Kenobi casting. They've been really great about connecting me with people who've been through this. I haven't necessarily reached out. It's weird. It is weird. She's saying she didn't necessarily reach out, that they reached out to her. Let's hear it in her own words.
You've talked about this, how they're trying to help you prepare for this backlash, and there are people out there who say some really awful things. Have you spoken to someone like John Boyega and said, how do I handle it?
You know, they've been really great about connecting me with the people who've been through this. I haven't necessarily reached out. You know what I mean? It's weird, you know? So I think for right now, the course of action for me has just been to mind my eyes so I can check my mouth and, call it a day, I guess.
Honestly, I thought that was a pretty good answer. I wish she would have stuck with that. But I'm not here to blame Moses Ingram or criticize the human being. She is simply just an adult pretender who took a job with a billion-dollar corporation who's using her as a pawn.
You're far too trusty.
We'll get to who's to blame in just a moment, and spoilers, it's not you. Then we received a very strange late-night tweet from the Star Wars account, which I'm sure isn't run by some 20-year-old social media manager. We are so proud to welcome Moses Ingram to the Star Wars family and excited for Reva's story to unfold as it unfolds in the Kenobi series. If anyone intends to make her feel in any way unwelcome, we only have one thing to say. we resist. So there's the setup, and I know what you're thinking, and believe me, we will get there. What happens next was very predictable. Moses Ingram shared and then made a video about some very harsh DMs she received on Instagram. She said she received hundreds, but she only showed 3, and we're not going to show them here because they were indeed harsh, and I don't recommend anybody doing this. And then it was quickly followed by a Ewan McGregor car video. Then right on cue, here comes Disney's lapdogs, the Access Media, coming at you, the racist Star Wars fan. Problem, reaction, solution playing out in real time. Except this time, it's deliberate marketing by Disney. And please save your, well, if you're not a racist, you shouldn't be offended. I'm not offended because I'm not a Disney Star Wars fan and I'm not a racist, but I'm also not stupid. So let's play a round of who's the racist? Is it you, the vast majority of the Disney Star Wars fandom who's just giving some legitimate criticism? Or is it the company that shrunk Finn on the poster for China, put a mask on Black Panther for China, and thanked a concentration camp in China? We completely understand what you're doing. You're conflating what is probably one or two genuine assholes, some 14-year-olds testing their social media boundaries, and some bots does not represent the entirety of the Disney Star Wars fandom. You are trying to deflect criticism, and you want to know why? Because you know, Disney, you have a giant turd on your hands, and one of the reasons is the character of Reva, a dumpster fire of a Disney Star Wars product that currently has a 58% audience score on Rotten Tomatoes. As I said, I'm not a Disney Star Wars fan, and I'm a little embarrassed that I watched this, and I feel a little dirty even though I didn't pay for it. Quite frankly, it's worse than I thought it was going to be. It's poorly acted, it's poorly directed, it's poorly edited, and it's poorly written. Unfortunately for me in this case, I have a little rule on this channel. If I'm going to talk about a film or a TV show, I have to watch it. And this is 2.5 hours of my life I'm never going to get back, and I really don't even like talking about it. But it's as bad as everyone is saying. I think that 58% audience score is a bit high, and I expect it to go down, especially after the 3rd episode. Best case scenario for Obi-Wan Kenobi is the show is good, and it's a good show about a guy who ends up babysitting a quitter. But he can't even do that because they're giving Kenobi the Jake Skywalker treatment. He is a complete idiot in this show, and so are the rest of the Jedi. This show exists to elevate Princess Leia, denigrate Luke Skywalker, and support the Disney trilogy and Rey Palpatine. And you heard me right. In the 1st episode, Ben Kenobi leaves Tatooine, leaves Luke Skywalker unprotected. Dude, you had one job and you blew it in the 1st episode, but he was not alone. Bail Organa, the man who was tasked to watch over Princess Leia Organa, screws up too. The spoilers were right. So far, Princess Leia does get kidnapped, and Bail Organa, instead of using the power of an entire planet like Alderaan to get her back, goes and gets Ben Kenobi off of Tatooine to do his job for him. Now, in the pursuit of the Jedi are the Inquisitors. Remember the Grand Inquisitor from Rebels? He was pretty cool looking. Not so cool in this series, but it doesn't matter because he dies. But that's to make way for not our protagonist, but the central character in this story, Reva, the one who's moving all the pieces, and all the pieces are moving around. And for the Disney Star Wars consumers out there, this is the crux of the criticism, not with Moses Ingram, but with the character of Reva. In a good story, a character does not detract from another. A character complements another, including and most importantly with the protagonist and the antagonist. Reva being smarter and having more information than Obi-Wan Kenobi and our antagonist Darth Vader is pretty formidable. It might be something you'll want to show. Did they do that? No, it'll probably be something they answer later, and that would be more Disney mystery boxing. What's a mystery box? Something that was perfected by Jar Jar Abrams. It's a cheap gimmick. It generally involves an overarching mystery, a MacGuffin, an unreliable narrator, sometimes all three, and you get all your answers at the very end of the TV series or the film. Just watch Lost. And it's a cheap way to avoid things like characterization.
What's in the box? Nothing!
So a defeated Kenobi who buried his lightsabers in sand dunes and was able to find them again was easily found by another Jedi in the middle of the desert. How did this happen? They don't really tell us. Reva, our ambitious Inquisitor who we know is on a redemption arc, somehow knows that Obi-Wan Kenobi is connected to Bail Organa. Reva then concocts a plan to have Flea from Fear and the Red Hot Chili Peppers kidnap Princess Leia. This is all to flush out Obi-Wan so Reva can take him to Darth Vader. No, Kenobi shouldn't have left Tatooine. No, Princess Leia shouldn't be in this story. No, the Grand Inquisitor shouldn't be dead. And no, Reva shouldn't be this important in the story, but she is, and the stupid doesn't end there. We get a stupid chase scene where 3 adult beings have a very hard time chasing a 10-year-old who runs like a toddler. But that's okay because Obi-Wan has trouble catching a 10-year-old who runs like a toddler. But that's okay because Reva, who was jumping like a superhero just a couple of minutes before, had a hard time catching Obi-Wan and a 10-year-old who runs like a toddler. And the rest is just a contrived plot, horrible dialogue, 10-year-old Princess Leia getting Obi-Wan out of not 1 but 2 jams, and Obi-Wan gets saved twice by Ilaria Sand from Game of Thrones. There's also a great scene of Obi-Wan trying to deprogram a laser gate that he could have just walked around.
Stupid! You're so stupid!
Then there's the contrived rematch of the century, which is the single worst lightsaber duel I've seen in Star Wars.
Fuck this shit, I'm out. Fuck this shit, I'm out. No thanks.
That's only slightly beaten out by some of the worst acting I've seen in Star Wars. And to introduce Darth Vader and not use the Darth Vader theme, you know you're dealing with hacks. And who knew Darth Vader couldn't use the Force through flames? But I have to give Disney Star Wars some credit. It does take work to make me not like Princess Leia, Obi-Wan Kenobi, and Darth Vader. Enough of me, because honestly, I don't want to talk about this anymore, but an old favorite around this channel is going to Rotten Tomatoes to hear from you. No cherry picking, we're just going to pick the 5 most recent reviews, and we're going to start with a positive one from Alba K for 5 stars. This show is giving us a beautiful story and in-depth look at Obi-Wan and its trauma. Seeing old and new foes has been a perfect combination. We are getting nostalgia, suspense, excitement, and storytelling. That makes this era of Star Wars the best yet. Absolutely love this show, man. Well, that explains a lot. Philip B for 1 star, yet another deconstruction of a beloved Star Wars character. There's a brilliant book written by John Jackson Miller in 2013 called Kenobi. That would have made a brilliant series. However, like Luke Skywalker in The Last Jedi, Kenobi is a broken, washed-up Jedi that's lost practically all of his Force powers. Too many plot holes to talk about. I liked the first 2 episodes. I didn't. But then comes episode 3, and by the end of it, I was done with the series. There were some great bits, like Darth Vader coming into town. However, the writers don't understand Star Wars, because this isn't Star Wars, it's Disney Star Wars. A wall of fire prevents Vader from getting Kenobi? Really? Yes. Really. Victor N, half star. It is awful. Disney killed Obi-Wan as a character. The plot and inner emotions of the Master are so bad. Should mention that some scenes are fantastic. Not so much. And McGregor's play is excellent. Not really. But the question is what he should have played, not how. No, I think he should have worked on how he should have played this character a lot more. But he wasn't given a lot. Guillaume M for 1.5 stars. This is The Last Jedi as a series. Take the OG character and make him a complete loser to make the new one shine. Charles M for 1 star. Why was this series made? The show is just a random Star Wars-y thing with an old face to try to make it more palatable to viewers. Doesn't the story group even read the scripts of the shows they claim to be keeping to the lore? Continuity is apparently just not important. Give it a pass. And that's what I would recommend you do. Give this show a pass. Give Disney Plus a pass. Stop giving companies money that hate you. Stop giving companies money that play into the divisiveness in this country simply to market their crap product. Don't let a company like Disney call you racist when they've been caught red-handed in the past. That wants to use and will eventually throw away somebody's identity to shield them from criticism. Lucasfilm is an evil, petty company, and I am grateful they're also incompetent. But there is some good news. Kenobi is one of the last cards Disney Star Wars had to play, and it failed. And obviously, Your speaking up has worked. We are living in their heads. Don't stop. Newsflash. Disney Star Wars is corrupt. Disney Star Wars is woke. Disney Star Wars is a disaster. Disney Star Wars is dumb. And it's not your fault.
Nerdrotic.com